was a nice try. I liked it. How did I deal 5 damage in his face?
Whoop. All right. All right, let me just mute Rafa for a moment here so I can get back, well, so I can explain kind of what we've been doing. Okay. Actually, I should probably delete a couple of these. Delete, probably. Maybe. Barely? Ooh, maybe not. I could see it. Right there. Yeah, we'll keep it, because I can see it. That side. Okay. Yeah, and this side's good, because if I delete that, then... Oh my gosh, it's so obvious. But, alright, I muted him for a second just so I can kind of explain what we've been doing. Okay, this is obviously the second level of our Tomb of Hircine mod called The Ruins of Mortrag. Basically, this is the level after Golgan's Lair. You come in through that door, you come down, there's gonna be some Draugr here. And we'll occupy some of these tombs, but there's gonna be some Draugr. You head down. This room is gonna be where you come out of when you finish the quest, because as soon as you come out of the sanctum, it'll lead you back up here, back up this way. Yeah, lead you back up this way. Then the tomb kind of comes down further. There's going to be like a little treasure room here that kind of has a story of, you know, providing like heated ventilation through this shaft, and it kind of comes out through some of the holes in the graves and whatnot, and it kind of does that here too with this fireplace. So there'll be fires. That's kind of my excuse for making this like a greener cave and not like totally like snowy and frozen. And I'll probably put like a werewolf or something in here, because I want werewolves and stuff too, because it's obviously a Hircine themed mod. But then it goes down further, it'll kind of like narrow down into this passageway. This gate will be open, but as soon as you enter in, it's going to close. And like when you enter in, you're going to get like a little bit of an open visual of the area. So, yeah, that's me kind of explaining it. What the fuck? Anyways, but yeah, so far so good. We haven't started any cluttering whatsoever, so we're basically just doing the base skeleton build of the level. And the thing is, doing like a skeleton build of the cave is tough because like doing a skeleton build in my eyes is mainly just, getting the walls, floors, and ceilings up, but there's gaps. And with there being gaps, it kind of like, I don't know. Cluttering is more like an interior design thing in like in my eyes. But fixing stuff like the floor feels like it should be a skeleton thing, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure when I'll do it yet. So we'll see. But yeah. Today we are listening to Liquid Rafa on Twitch. He's playing some duels against FaZe in Quake Champions, a game I absolutely love to play when it goes right. Also pisses me the fuck off insanely, like an insane amount. But it happens. That's what happens in Quake. But yeah, I love watching him play. Pisses him off too, but yeah, that's what we're gonna be listening to today. Until he's done. I don't know how many games he's gonna play. We may only have him for like another 10 minutes or so. But yeah. Then we'll go to Mr. Creepypasta. Or maybe some other stuff. So. Skeleton build will also include putting in the bridge, because there's going to be a bridge that kind of goes from this lower level to the upper level. This obviously needs to come down a bit. And if it comes down, it's got to come down like a little bit further. That's a little bit more off to the side than I wanted, but whatever. I kind of need to find a way to meet up the two ends of the bridge. So Nordic bridges. Oh, it's kind of large.
Yeah. Oh, you could just ban that person. Name's terrible too. Reason by. That's right.
No, it's not what I'm looking for. Mid-stair?
Kelps, thanks for the raid.
67s are a major junior ice hockey team based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, that plays in the Ontario Hockey League, OL. and were established during Canada's centennial year of 1967.
At this point, Maggie, I feel like you have your account hooked up to a bot to look up every time it's time to read
Holy
stuff, like,
fucking moly.
the next number.
Okay, again.
For these 67 months.
Again, these aren't my notifications. I don't know why it's doing that. But Alex, thank you so much again for subscribing again. I don't know how many months it's been. How many months has it been? It doesn't tell me how many months it's been. That's weird. But again, thank you so much for subbing, and congratulations on graduating from college, my friend. It's great to see. So what are your plans to do afterwards? Are you gonna what are you gonna do? And that is not right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's good. 40. Oh, we're 1 month away from 4 years. Right on, man. But yeah, like that's really exciting stuff. He picked Keel. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I'm glad we'll be able to see you for more streams. Acting gigs around Omaha. Nice. You know, Alex.
Fuck, I actually have to give it up now.
For this mod that I'm creating, I may have like a little bit of a project for you if you want. I know you want to do like voice acting and stuff too. I have a character in this mod that I'm creating. He's not created yet, but if you want to be like his voice, I'd be interested. You done messed up, Ron. But I think it'd be fun. Me. Wait, it's got... Yeah, okay, it's just not far enough. Ooh. Is that far enough? Does that look okay? Maybe up? Maybe not up that much. Maybe a little bit further back.
It's just a fucking awkward ass fight.
Interesting. Oh. That's good. So let me kind of explain it to you. He's going to be, well, he's mostly going to be quest giver, but he's also going to be kind of like a traveling companion for this quest. So like, he's not going to be a permanent follower. Oh, that is so close. Ooh. But just perfectly close. But anyways, yeah, he's like quest giver slash follower for the quest, I think is what I'm going to do.
Roof, how did he take nothing?
I don't know, Rafa. How did he take nothing? But, he's kind of... Oh, yeah, I guess I'll have to go like that. But, so he's kind of like a historian slash archaeologist. So basically, he's the one who was kind of discovered this tomb's existence, and I haven't really put into much thought on how his personality is going to be yet, and I haven't written lines yet. I do have like a vague idea of what lines he's going to say in certain situations, but basically he's like an archaeologist / historian. Maybe I would picture, if you've seen Indiana Jones, like if you've seen The Last Crusade, I would picture him a lot like Indy's dad, but not as like, I don't know. I'd say he's like, here's how I picture Indiana Jones and his dad, or his dad. Indiana Jones is like very action oriented, but he's obviously very smart historically. Like he knows his knowledge and whatnot. I think Indiana Jones's father is probably a little bit more versed historically, but he's not as actiony. I'd say this guy's kind of in between. I'd say he's a little less actiony than Indy, more actiony than Indy's father, but still very smart on, the history that he's been studying. And he's kind of been studying, the history of this area in Tamriel, like Solstheim, and like the history of like Hircine and all that. And he's just kind of like, he kind of like travels around, looking for stuff, kind of like what Indy does. So picture him as kind of like an Indiana Jones, but not as like hardcore, if you know what I mean. So if you can picture like a voice or like a performance in your head of something like that, then, once we get to that, and that probably won't be for a while, like I want this mod to be done by like September. They like all of like putting in like the lines and whatnot probably won't happen until maybe August. So I'd keep that in mind. But I think it'd be a good idea, it'd be cool to have you be a part of it, and I think it'd be cool to like, kind of get your foot in the door, because like, I know you want to be a voice actor. I think it'd be cool. How will we do voice recordings? So, that's a good question. Ooh, that was a bad move, Cotton. Holy fuck, he's just destroying FaZe right now. That's a good question. One thing I would probably do is I would maybe ask Jordan where he has or had at one point, I don't know if he still does, I hope he does, he had this microphone called it was like a blue snowball microphone that actually probably kind of works okay. And like I've listened and looked at a few courses. Well, it's mainly just one course that somebody talked to me and a bunch of others about how to set up like a good cheap sounding booth. Whereas you could take like an Amazon cardboard box and like cut out a little piece, and then you can like stick a microphone in there and put like a pillow in it to provide like insulation's not really the right word, but like soundproofing. And then that's worked really well for like recording voice dialogue, and then we could just do it over like it'd have to finagle with it, but like we could do something in like Discord or a program that maybe records sound a little bit better. But you know, like big game studios do it all the time. They record voice dialogue over like PAP systems or VoIP, and it can sound really good. So we can try and work something out like that. But I'll have to text Jordan, see if he still has that microphone. If he doesn't, I have an old microphone that I don't use anymore. It still works really well. Oh, yeah, we would need to get like an interface though. I mean, that's not a big deal. I kind of want to get one anyway, but I don't know. We'll have to figure something out, but there is definitely stuff. Oh, you have your own Blue Yeti microphone. That's the way to do it. That's a good idea. Having you download Audacity and you could record it over Audacity and then send it to me. That would actually be a lot better. I actually didn't know you had a Blue Yeti. Never mind. That's actually a lot better than the Snowball. But yeah, like we can definitely work with something to like. One thing that if I were to like record lines, I actually really like the idea of having a cardboard box and like kind of soundproofing this cardboard box around this microphone for like recording dialogue. That's something that I'll probably do eventually. Because like, I don't know, having you actually being a voice actor and whatnot is like, I want to work with Alex. He'd be really good. But then I also kind of have to learn a little bit of voice acting on my own because obviously they're my projects and I can't like have just randos and I can't like hire voice actors. So I have to like do some of it on my own too for like a different character. So like, oh yeah, it looks like Rafa's probably done. That's okay. But yeah, like I'll have to set something up like that. But yeah. Yeah, we'll figure something out. We will figure something out.
They at where they were at before when he had 5? Is the delay like that? Or is it still a little slower? Because it kind of feels a little slower. Yeah, it's no bueno. I'd be down to try.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of time to figure out how we're gonna do it.
Is like, even though he has the speed buff now,
but that makes me really glad that you graduated. Okay. But yeah, it makes me feel good that you graduated so that you can you're not stress out about school and plays and whatnot. That you can focus a lot on what the fuck? That isn't. Oh. That's way too big. But yeah, that means you could like focus a lot on other stuff. And if you're going to like pick up acting jobs in Omaha too, that's exciting.
A Quake streamer right now. I'm going to send you to a good friend of mine who is still, I believe, doing donation stuff. Yes, she is, for St. Jude's charity. I already made my donation earlier this month, but I think she's still going for the rest of the month. So yeah. Gonna host her now. Love y'all. Take care. And if I'm on tomorrow, it won't be till tomorrow evening. I'll be busy during the morning and afternoon. So yeah. All right. Love y'all. Take care.
See you, Rafa. Yeah, I figured he wasn't going to do it for very long. Okay. Tater Tots playing Conker's Bad Fur Day. Oh, wow. APL's playing CSGO. That's a throwback. Anyways, anybody online who I know personally? Not really. Not really.
Oh, dude, isn't it? My Jason. You like mine? Ooh. What is Sean's skin? What is Safari?
It's been a minute since I've watched APL. Especially when he's playing Counter-Strike.
The skin that you insulted?
What, the
all white?
No, I
Fuck
love
Timmy.
skin. It's so good.
I don't have any skins anymore,
I
though.
mean, if you
give him skins.
not close,
Want it?
yeah, it's for-
I mean, I can give it back to you if you. I mean, or you can keep it if you really want.
Oh, how did I not get him? Okay, I only did 26 bear. He ran back towards the site.
Whoa, one door highway.
Close.
Close.
Fucked. Okay.
Sorry.
I think another one default. Not sure.
One's forced.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's this one called?
I'm sure he's down. Oh, that guy's
They're
got
all
a
over.
low as hell.
Yeah, they're all over the site though.
Wait, sup? What does that mean? Sup.
I
Oh, supported?
one
I
quad.
think that's what that means. Supported.
That's it.
Chance proceeds to hear him. Unlucky.
No, not what I want.
Sam, you want to drop pistol for Scott or drop Scott or something? I don't.
I'll take any. Yeah, I'll take pistol. You guys can full buy if you want. Just give me a piece.
I'll drop an AK.
Oh, thank you. All right. Let's try the. Let's go back to B. They really have only played like one site moderately late, or all the way back in CT. Wow.
They have opted.
Yeah,
Whoops.
but now we are a little late. Pushed up.
They smoke to get close.
Yeah, but chance.
Oh, I hate that it has that piece of wood.
Built differently.
Oh, Molly there.
I see nothing. There's a molly.
Bae- Oh, Bay jumped into the molly, but he's better. He's not scared.
Baya,
Still
Baya,
behind it.
Beta.
Baya.
How can I get it to go up? That's what I want. I want it to go up.
Two there. One headshot, one pushing out.
Unless it goes like,
One's flank.
Still
One's
headshot,
flank
CT,
right now.
flank.
whoa, what in the world is that?
Holy shit.
What's headshot?
Stop it.
Headshot. Oh,
No, he's not. He's on the.
oh.
Oh no.
I thought he was on top of the lane. I hit him for
How did we lose that?
7.
We've had a lot of these close, like, unlucko rounds. We're fine. We got 7. Let's get 9. We're good. Is it Chance that plays QC? Wait, what is QC?
No idea.
You said no idea. After you said yeah.
Yeah, no idea.
QC.
What the hell is I have no idea.
Quality control.
Quebec.
I was thinking Quebec.
Oh,
Okay,
Rozzy,
that's
dirty one tapping. Beast.
He said QC, and I thought he meant Quake Champions for a second there. I was like, piqued my interest because I was like, I just finished watching somebody who was playing that.
You hear that? That's the
Okay.
perfectly thrown.
No.
They did. Default still? Default?
Oh, they're dead.
Fuck is the...
We're out.
Razzie, you see that?
Playing safe.
Look at that.
3 bullets.
No,
all need.
I see it. I definitely see it.
I don't know why I know that.
He's doing that
Could
smoke
come
for
main. I don't
years.
see
Is it the dumbass cat smoke that's
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
fucking useful?
It's good to
I
practice
feel
it
like it
though.
just does nothing.
Highway.
Where is he? Highway.
I heard a shot. Yeah, highway.
Get out of the way, get out of the way, let me get his gun.
Highway, get out of the way.
It
God
takes
damn it,
like
did you get it?
20
You got it.
seconds to land.
Yeah, he did.
How did you learn it? Like a video or like?
I think I looked it up mid-round, like the mid to B smoke on dust one time.
Wait, no one. We still haven't.
I still don't know the new one.
We still don't know what QC is. Has nobody figured it out?
XQC.
XQC.
Yeah, I'm a juicer.
Yeah, I'm a juicer.
I thought you were more of an asthma.
I was. Chance is juicing is peaches. All right, let's be honest.
What would I be today?
Hey,
Like,
boost.
I watch a lot of
Nice.
Squeaks.
There's another
Squeaks
guy.
is fun.
Yo, Squeaks, goated.
I love Squeaks.
Headshot. One headshot. Oh fuck! I had bomb.
No way! It actually is.
One was headshot. Not sure where. Oh, Quake Champions. Okay, that makes sense.
Chance, and I was like, Chance,
Gotcha.
Squeaks.
Dude, I watch him all the time. He's great.
Oh, well, you're in a 1v2.
One was heaven and one was B site.
If only our bomb didn't run out by himself.
Dude, that's
Back left, then I guess.
You're right,
Why?
Chance, that bomb for real.
We come with you.
Because everybody was there.
how in the hell.
No money.
Wait. How in the hell did I go from watching Rafa, who gets like, I think he got like 270-ish viewers and whatnot. Then I'm like, oh, you know what? I haven't watched APL play CSGO in a while, and he's got like 150 viewers. But there's fucking Owned on Liquid, who I see regularly in Rafa's stream. Suddenly, I'm like, I don't even see the chat. I just see APL, and suddenly everybody's like, oh, what's QC? And I'm like, QC, I know that term. QC, Quake Champions. And then I'm like, then I'm going to type in the chat, is it Quake Champions? As soon as I start typing that, Owned on Liquid, again, who I saw in Rafa's chat, suddenly he's in APL's chat. Like, how did we both decide to watch Rafa and then go to fucking APL? That's the most insane thing I've seen all day, all week. What the heck? It's such a small world.
Oh,
I was going loud, man.
I have more respect for Chance going loud than you not buying correctly.
It's Bayer who buys every round.
One aim in, I dinked him. There's two coming
Yeah.
out with bomb.
But you guys are like clones of each other. You're the same fucking person.
How'd Chance, if I get 2 kills, can you give me a kiss?
I dinked one.
Yes. Oh, there's one. Two.
Oh,
Huge. Go huge.
2 sight,
That was actually nuts.
1 squeak.
You're better. All right, hold on. Creaking.
That was a guy
I'm
game.
creaking. My bones.
I
are
think you heard him quad.
Creaking?
I think you may have heard him quad. You did.
No, door.
Oh, panic.
Where was he? Door.
Door and main, I think.
God damn it, dude.
You're so
He hears the
panicked.
voices in his head.
Hey,
Nice.
you got one.
Ah,
You got yours.
damn
You got
it, dude.
yours.
Fine, I just did that for the Chance kiss.
I gave you
The
a
fact
big
it
ol'
was your
That's it.
exasperated expression.
Did we just become best friends?
It's so much more funny.
All right, we're fine. We're fine. Little light, little okay. Well, light, little.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever I'm doing here.
Time the rest of us had
Wow,
money,
Sean
they were
forcing,
good.
dude. I can't believe.
You get forced. You just
Force.
need to do it together.
Dude. Hypocrite, dude. Emphasis on hippo. You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna punch. I swear to
That fucking, what a dick.
Oh, definitely hear one. You want me to flash close, Rozzy? Oh, flashing.
I'm gonna
Coming.
pray they don't come squeak.
Hey, main, still.
I'm flashing over.
Emphasis on the hippo. That's funny.
Okay, well I'm leaving you then. Good luck.
You're fine.
Nice. I'm here.
Man.
I don't have any more nades, but I'm gonna.
Okay, let's take a look at the stairs, I guess.
There's one close here.
B main.
Alright, I'm coming.
Dead. Bomb down.
I have nothing for you.
And last one's here. Wide swing. Maybe not.
Can I just get a normal freaking staircase? Maybe I can use wood planks to make like
Here, I'll
a stairway, like a ramp. You know, I might do that. Let's try that.
Flying across
could be
my screen.
behind us, I guess. Oh, I think I just heard him mid.
Yep, I'm watching it.
Like our side or
Yeah, he could be.
Snipey, McSnipe face. Alright, guess I'll just hold in case he goes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was. Oh my god.
He might have just. That's why I was like, just hold out. He might have been faking me out.
Ooh, the vitamins are kicking in today. Oh my god. Turned on. Thank you, Snipey, for the 27 months. McBully, thank you for the 73 months, by the way.
Get ready for the next
I
round.
can drop a rifle if we need one.
Look at Scott with his 5 MVP toss. He tries for one game and then it'll be, oh, I got MVP one game. It's fine.
Oh yeah, this is. I'm putting it all in this game. It's over the next rest of how many hours we play.
Oh, they're out.
Flash B. Flash to shit.
Vent.
Huh? They're here. I'm flashing
over.
flashing
Good luck. Good luck. Oh, I fucked it up.
Oh, I'm stuck too. Two pushing up. Fuck, another one. Okay, never mind.
Did we see bomb? I actually don't know.
Yes.
Oh, I'm muddled.
Shit.
Flashing a chance. Go with it. Go with it.
Oh,
See,
thanks,
nothing is
owned. I
finding
appreciate
default?
it.
Default.
That makes me. I am old. I mean, I'm turning 36 tomorrow. So. Oh,
They were
Bayer.
both on site.
Oh my
I did not.
god. Use them like a mop. Mop the floor with them.
Use them like
Come on.
I'm just trying to come up with other ways than mop. You know what I mean? Trying to new tech.
What?
New tech
the
for
rest of this.
like colloquialisms, like mop the floor with them. Use them like a mop. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't work.
I liked it better before you explained it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go die B now. Come B. I'm peeking with an op. I'm gonna get one.
I'm sorry. I felt like I had to share my honest feelings.
No, I appreciate
with
your
you.
feedback. Thank you. Oh, nothing B yet.
I'm blind.
I'm gonna get creeped up on.
Oh,
Suck them
that's
like
terrible,
vacuum.
Molly. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Hey, main. Okay.
Oh, out mid.
Okay.
Got him.
They
Out
threw a
A.
smoke 2 cross. What do you want
Out
from
A.
me?
When is my Eagle remix dropping?
Nice.
Oh, I'm so blind. One was default. Could be close
Yeah,
to me
he's
here.
Oh my god, what a fucking prankster. What's
Top
up?
red.
Fucking ratty.
We almost hit him.
I think he might have
One bullet.
actually hit him.
Good shot.
Fuck.
You've never lost me. You're gonna no-scope this.
No.
Aww.
Oh, am I sending still on my mic? What?
Conjuring a spell.
Just singing my favorite song.
Chance, can I have a pistol?
P250 on the ground.
Okay, McBully. That's a lie. Dr. Opout, thanks for the 18. Razzle Copter, thank you for the 90.
Spoiled.
The 90?
Oh.
Okay, but please don't release those for real. Please don't release them.
Oh,
With 5-7.
stop it wrong.
Oh, and then Ad gifted a sub to Owned on Liquid, man. Thank you, Ad.
I
Nice
fucked
shot,
it
Ross.
up. I'm sorry. He's
My
half.
balls.
They rushed A.
Yeah, I might have to change that.
Yeah.
One of them's half HP.
Kind of want it to be a little bit longer.
Oh.
I'm coming up highway,
Nice,
but
alive.
I'm so blind. One truck, I think.
One fork on close.
That's unfortunate.
Oh,
got it.
let that thing rip.
Oh.
You got it. Good try.
In the grassy.
You had your timescale wrong. 4 strong carriages were before the Kennedys cheer 300.
All right. Shit.
Save again.
Save one more here. Yeah, one more. You want to go mid or like do they go A main? Is it worth running A main?
They've just been sprinting A main.
Okay. I'm gonna just throw a pop flash and go die.
All right.
Just follow me. Maybe we trade it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, here we go.
I don't know if that would get them, but nice try.
I think it might have.
That might have been a little too deep.
Maybe it.
I'm trying to create sound. There, B. I hear
Of
loud.
course they go B. Sons of guns. Just watch for
The
that.
one time I hit the jump and they actually fucking go B.
Wait, yeah, I just realized you boosted yourself.
they're
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I always try it.
I mean, if
but
we all go together. Shit, where is he?
Sam, I'm proud of you.
Oh, he's close. Damn it.
but
Underbent.
That was hard.
I know it's really important to you that I'm proud of you.
You could always just
So what? I'll take it. No one else
Alright,
said
fair.
anything.
just edit it ever so slightly, and then
And
on
then
around
put
the
a
wing
deep
one.
fake like
Yeah.
layer on top of it, so it sounds like you're dead. Sorry. warmed up. Chancy.
Pushing you two.
No, he shot early.
All right.
Hey, good
This
try.
is make or break
Chance, I
round
need
here.
you to
Let's
turn
go.
the
Let's
fuck up.
stop the bleeding at 12 here. We got it. Let's put a big
Eh.
date on it. Anyone got the Neosporin? Rozzy?
I don't know
Do
what
you guys use
Neosporin is.
Neosporin? Where you? Okay, maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe what do you guys use for like?
Pseudocrem.
Okay.
Something that.
That
Just
sounds
rub
right.
some dirt in it, dude.
You rub dirt on your. That's you.
Wave a dock leaf on it.
I'm blind.
Oh, one
Out. He got out.
I'm blind as fuck.
Out mid. Yeah, they're just running out
There
mid.
was one with an op sunroom, I think. Huge
Nice.
There we
nade.
go.
Sounds like he's pushing up
Call
close, Roz.
I've got a flash ready. Call for it.
I'm gonna get in the corner.
Yep.
Actually.
Just call for it.
Might be a bad
One
smoke.
smoke. Oh, they kind of smoked me out.
If I move it forward.
For it. Pop it.
A main
Go,
44.
go.
Oh, he was up top. Got it. Good flash.
Nice.
I only saw one. He was standing there. Could be more coming back from mid. Not sure though. Holding.
Actually looks really good.
Go ahead.
Hey man. And he killed himself.
I mean, it doesn't look great underneath, but I mean,
Wait, what happened?
It's
Sean's
just
got mid. I'm
random
listening, dude.
fucking bullshit.
Nice, Sean.
Nice. Where's some friend?
that looks a little better.
Speaking Gaelic again, dude. What did you say? Where him from?
Looks pretty good from up top too.
I don't understand.
You know what? We're just
Why
on the
is that
same wavelength
Gaelic?
today. It's okay.
Why is that Gaelic?
Just trying to trigger Roz. He's main. Be main.
Oh, you're just trying to be a dick. I see. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm hungry. My brain's not functioning at full capacity.
What are you eating tonight?
Waiting on pizza.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Hell yeah. I had some pizza.
Really good pizza.
Like the
Yeah,
$40
delivered?
by the time it's to your house, or 30?
It's from like a place that's an hour up from where we
Oh,
live.
shit.
But Stephanie had to go there to get her massage, so she's bringing back the good pizza.
Hell yeah.
Getting it delivered an hour away. I'm like, you must have a fucking plug, dude. Holy shit. You're like,
Yeah,
you're
delivered.
outside of our immediate area. That'll be $200, but we'll send it.
Delivered on the Stephanie Express. She's also bringing key lime pie, I think.
Nice.
Oh well.
Fucking.
I'll be right back. I gotta help bring it.
She needs help breaking in pizza.
All right, we got this. Big round to get. Just went out from here. You rocking those gloves you bought, Rossi, or did you got the other day, or did you sell them already?
Oh, you mean the grandma couch pattern, bro? I'm keeping them.
Yeah, you're holding on to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did promise that when I did get gloves, I would keep them.
Oh, you did.
So
Oh,
I-
interesting.
Yeah.
Are you rocking them right now?
Contract.
Can't tell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in.
They're
on
the
those bad boys,
lowest
actually.
float, or the
Oh my
worst float you can
God.
get in field tested.
What the fuck?
They're like 0.378 or something. Insane.
Looks like you just got home from.
Oh, they're so like they're
biker
not.
rally.
They're supposed to be like burgundy, like red, but then they
Mhm.
scratch off and they're just grey and like this weird green. Oh,
Mostly they look good in CS2 though, so
True. Just gotta wait for
Oh,
that
do
to
they?
come out.
the gloves look better, yeah.
Am I gonna join Game Religion? Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it's really stretching it thin though for these ones. Fucking.
Do it with a slaughter knife, that would look sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to get rid of my huntsman, my wee huntsman, because I've unboxed both of these now.
See, you do get attached when you. Well, at least some people. Do,
Yeah.
Yes, but maybe
Yeah.
not everybody.
I feel like I think I do now. I didn't before.
All right, Sean's not alive, so just try to play passive initially here.
Also,
And-
was that you trying to defend your gut knife?
No, what? Yes, I'll defend it till the end. Yes,
Then
but
you
yes.
come out mid.
Nothing big
Yep,
yet.
they're out mid already. What the fuck?
Okay.
They're just holding W mid.
Okay, I'm gonna keep you all on B.
It's probably 4v4 here.
I
And
think
through
Sean's
Z.
pizza came. No, fuck.
Mid
Christ.
50.
It's like he.
Highway.
Okay.
Sean's pizza. a
That'd be nice.
game.
Just saving this gun.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh. Sean, we might...
in spawn!
Well, it's 2v3, I guess. The guy didn't come back.
Kill their best player.
Oh, man.
Alright.
Bro, I'm hankering for pizza now. What the fuck?
Sorry.
I know, you got me good.
Oh, he's sitting
shot,
high, sitting highway looking Z. Nice.
You
I
kill
think I
him?
killed him.
Damn!
1v1?
From behind red.
What?
This guy's panicking.
Yeah, he's fucking scared. You got it. Holy shit.
3 bullets.
That's all he needs, baby.
Just watch your time, because you do have a kit, though. And a smoke, I think.
10, 9.
Oh,
God, they almost fucking blew that. I can't believe you got that blind kill. That was insane looking.
I had a
I need
feeling
help
he was just
mid.
gonna push, but you know, I
I
just
need
that
help
was
mid.
nuts.
He just runs out mid every round.
I was
Hands are sweating.
I would have been there to help you, but I was AFK.
Fuck, we saving
Double
for 13
HE
here.
mid.
Double
Yeah.
HE mid. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a smoke
I'm
and a
gonna throw a
kit here.
smoke.
Oh fuck. Alright, I'll nade it with you. Got that.
Fuck me.
No,
Well, I ruined the economy. I'm sorry, guys.
Did you buy?
it's fine.
Yeah.
Just boost. Boost to
Two boosts, two boosts,
41
two-
on boost. I think one might drop.
And damn main. Yep.
I'm running out.
Fork.
That's bomb.
Close.
Close to fucking.
84. First game. First game.
Alright,
14,
we're not
okay.
losing 4v5 to these guys. We got this, guys. Literally, yeah, their best players got 30, but we can.
That guy is kind of carrying.
He is nuts.
True.
I mean, do
Are
we
we
want to
not
just play a
buying?
little more?
I think-
I don't know.
No, you
We
guys
just
can
need
buy.
more
You guys
mid
can buy. I'll
presence.
buy
Agreed.
around you.
I don't know. I would say I don't want to give up mid.
I'm
but-
stinky.
Out
Oh, mid.
on the left.
Be main fast. Nice.
I don't have.
Oh my god, he's
Oh,
with the
man.
headshot,
There you
bro.
go. Good trade.
Yeah.
He's
Meds?
running AK me.
Okay.
No, he has 5 fucking ping.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he running AK me.
Pre-fire crouch walking around.
One. 1 and 1.
Your
Okay.
ass.
Okay. All right, dude. Yeah, I don't know about that
Your
one.
mom.
I don't know about that one. That was
these
insane.
American comebacks.
I mean, whatever.
All of them.
It's just locked in, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but chance diff. So.
Anime, yes, in his profile, so we never stood a chance, honestly.
You're such a baby.
That's what it says in his profile, anime.
So blind.
I
hello?
like anime.
Fuck, I bought the FAMAS again. Ah! Bomb was towards
We're
me
going
here.
B, I think. Yeah. Flashing.
Nice. Run through.
They're all.
I'm
There's
still
3
blind.
of them hit 30. Or no, hit 70. Sorry.
Dude, this guy.
He doesn't.
This
he's
guy.
just-
He's ready.
He's
Two
ready
buff
every time.
side,
He's not
one
He's
way
got a
back.
molly.
Tarp.
One's on the tarp.
I can
I think.
He's under.
I can flash if you want.
flash it. Flash it
Tarp
once.
one side.
Flash.
Nice.
That side.
Sight.
Ah, default. He's on the box.
It's Yaru, though, by the way.
It's not
positioned
planted yet. It's
perfectly.
not planted yet.
I know. I
Take
know.
it easy.
Just saying. Always alive. Flying.
this kind of needs something to make it look a bit more natural.
So easy.
So trash.
Oh, yes.
We're good.
Yeah,
We're
you
good.
got
We're good. We're good. We're good.
Oh.
We're good.
Yes. Don't think you have time.
Sean just gets mad when we call out anime people because he's an anime fan, which is
I know.
fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Even went to Japan. He's learning Japanese.
Fuck yeah.
One gun down. Actually, fuck. Sorry.
Trying utility mid.
Yeah, there's a gun down. There's a FAMAS down for somebody.
Okay. You know, maybe I put some rocks instead.
Yep, out. It's on W.
Hey, main.
Wait, rubble?
Left side, main.
Oh, that's kind of huge.
Oh, no, so
I
much.
dink him 78. 2 out, A main. Nice.
On top of red.
Nading fork.
That might be a little too big.
Highway. Oh.
That looks so weird.
Oh, good try. Good try. Just hurts that they only had 4, but that guy was literally fragging for 3, so it didn't really matter.
No chance you're popping off this next one.
Dropped 38.
Yeah.
Yo, dirt drop. What the fuck?
I got
Insane.
dumped on.
Okay, I'll go pee.
Oh, let's go.
His last name before this was just racist in all caps, by the way. In case you
What?
literally just he named himself racist in all caps. These are the kind of people that you lose to in MM. Who dropped 40, by the way.
We're back sec.
Classic anime fan. That's right. Oh, it's so tilting.
Oh, it's so tilting.
I said his last username before Yaru was just racist in all caps. That was the last time he was named.
I feel like
Sean's like, stop profiling us. I'm like, Sean, at some point, Sean.
what are you talking about?
I
Real
was saying that
nuance.
you always prickle at the anime stuff because you're a big anime fan, which is fair. I respect it.
Listen, I think it's more just that he probably doesn't give a shit about any of it, and he just has it in his profile because he knows it pisses you off. Especially when he's saying shit like GG easy and your ass every time you talk to him. He's just trying to
No.
piss you off.
No, dude.
As someone who tries to piss people off a lot.
Sean, don't admit
Those
that.
are telltale signs that someone
Don't
is
admit
trying
that.
to piss you off.
Oh, wait, did Rozzy say he was AFK for a sec?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's really... It's not even just winning the mental game. He just ran out and just one-tapped everybody.
I don't care about it. You can say whatever you want about him, to be honest. I don't give a fuck. It was more when you were like, oh, he's definitely hacking. I'm just like, I prickle up at that. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
Have you been in the games where we watch demos of the people cheating against us recently? Or
No.
you actually haven't?
Chance.
I don't think.
No.
Chance, what the fuck is that?
What?
Was it like the name change?
Dude, if you can't beat him, you join him.
But you need to
Cutie
choose the
pie,
picture.
kawaii girl.
Oh, okay. You know what, Chance? I like this
But what
approach.
about the
Let's try.
chance the picture? The picture has to change.
Yeah, I'm changing it. Give me a
Yeah,
second.
I at least have an anime profile picture. Come on.
Let's go.
Except mine might be too deep of a cut for some anime people.
Is that Persona? I just guessed.
It's Shin Megami Tensei 3 not
You've told me that so many times.
featuring
How many
Devil
times?
May Cry or Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Don't put residence.
Actually true, Sawyer. There's like
Okay.
There's like calling cheats when I mean I don't know if that guy was
I think that's better.
I don't think he was, but
Valid, Sean. It's okay.
there's like calling cheats.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Suspicious, and then there's Sean who's like nobody's ever cheating.
Well.
It's like okay, it's somewhere. in between.
Isn't that everyone's favorite kawaii girl?
Chance is not my beautiful girl.
All right. Like I said, I love me some APL, but let's move on.
Camera I'd received a Christmas or two back, clutched in my hand beneath a blanket, prepared to take a few shots as soon as St. Nick made his appearance. But as the house fell silent, I found it far more difficult to keep my eyes open. While the couch wasn't nearly as comfortable as my bed on the second floor, the excitement for the season, along with a good deal of playing out in the snow, left my eyelids far too heavy to battle against. I can't be certain how long I was out for, with only the lights from the tree illuminating the living room around me. But when the creaking of the floor and jingling of the decorations hanging from the tree caused me to stir back to awareness, I instantly felt my fingers tingle with anticipation. For my plan to prove fruitful, I would have to keep up the act of a sleeping child. One fully unaware of the visitor I could vaguely see through my half-shut eyes. From the angle I was laying in, I could only make out from the waist down of the man who fished goodies from his hefty bag, laying them gently beneath the tree. But I had no doubt I was witnessing the actions of the very man I hoped to see. With his back to me, I softly but hastily searched my fingertips around for the camera which had fallen from my grip after I had knocked out, but I attempted to keep my actions unnoticed. I slightly gasped aloud when my hand wrapped around the plastic shell, causing the man by the tree to spin in place, almost catching me red-handed. I snapped my eyes shut, rolling them from side to side.
Oh, this one might be a little longer.
To imitate the rapid eye movement I had read about.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Whether or not I was overdoing it, acting as though I was erratically scanning them in every direction while still firmly closed, I had no way of knowing. But when I felt the air shift as the man drew closer to where I lay, I found it more difficult to hide my excitement. I breathed in the scent of freshly baked cookies and peppermint, convincing me that I truly was in the presence of the fabled gift-giver himself. There was something else beneath the more inviting smells, more musty and aged, but I assumed the big guy had worked up quite a sweat, given his laborious profession. After a few moments, I felt the oxygen around me regulate as the light footsteps sounded as though they moved away from me again, so I took a chance to crack open my eyelids. Sure enough, the man in the red suit was hunched over by the tree again. I knew I had to make it quick or I would lose this small window of providing evidence to my sister. In one swift but silent motion, I pulled the camera free from my blanket, aimed it at the man who still faced the tree, and snapped 3 pictures back to back. Moving my finger so quickly, I didn't have time to register the bright flash. I felt my breath catch in my throat as he spun to face me. Something I could barely make out through the lingering effects of the blinding bright lights in my eyes, which had grown accustomed to an otherwise darkened room. "That's against the rules, little boy," his deep voice said, with his posture unchanged, from what I could tell. I'm sorry," I stuttered, feeling my eyes well up. I just wanted to prove to my sister that you're real." "You're not the first. Unlikely to be the last. But it is still forbidden, I'm afraid." I could see the silhouette rising back to his feet, with the blotches of lingering light still blocking most of my view. He moved closer to where I lay, only slightly raised with the camera clenched between my trembling fingers. It wasn't fear that caused my extremities to shiver, but that sensation of guilt and embarrassment for being caught doing something I shouldn't have. With this any other man, I would likely be so scared that I couldn't even form the stuttering words I managed to utter. But I was comfortable in the fact that Father Christmas would never harm a child, regardless of how naughty they were acting. "Give it to me," he said, holding his palmed mitt just beneath my face. I gently raised the camera, placing it in his waiting hand, keeping my guilt-ridden gaze fixed on my wrinkled blanket. "There's nothing to feel bad about, my boy," he said, sliding the camera into his pocket with one hand and tussling my hair with the other. "Go back to sleep now." "But will I mean, does this make me naughty?" "No, young Mr. Cobb. You've graced my nice list exclusively for years," he said with a hearty chuckle. "I was a curious child myself once. So very long ago." Finally feeling comfortable enough to raise my eyes to meet those of the man who stood beside the couch, I found my voice silenced when I met his smiling face. While things were still somewhat out of focus from the lingering effects of the camera flash, what I saw through the haze was far from what I expected. Whether it was the fact that the skin tone of the left side of his face was not the same as the right, the green and red threads holding the mismatched flaps of skin together, or the 2 different colors, the sizes of the eyes were what caught me off guard.
Ooh, wrong thing.
Whatever aspect of this crudely pieced together thing, or lack of a better term, I was certain that this could not truly be who I had expected a visit from this snowy Christmas morning. As my jaw fell open, a scream caught in my throat as the creature in the red suit swiftly and firmly placed a hand over my mouth. Now, he said, smiling so wide that a few stitches popped where his mouth was hemmed on the left side. "There's no sense in allowing your curiosity to wake everyone else in the house." I was frozen when the sight of the patchwork man caused my guilt to be replaced with a fear I'd never known. My whole body trembled as the one green and one hazel eye glared into mine. Tears were streaming down my face, then over the padded glove that rested over my mouth while my mind fought to wrap around what I was looking at. There's nothing to fear, my boy, he said, winking the brown eye, his words now accompanied by a whistle through the gap on the side of his mouth. I may not look as you imagine, but I assure you I am who you sought to meet this night. What are you? I asked, pulling the hand from my mouth with my shivering fingers. You know who I am, Edward. No, you can't be. I shook my head almost violently as I pushed my shoulder blades against the back of the couch, as though this would somehow grant me freedom from this hideous thing. The smile faded from the patchy, bearded face, as those opposing eyes glared down at me. While he hung his head, turning away from me, he strolled to my father's recliner, which sat diagonally across from where I lay. When he spun again to face me, lowering himself into my dad's favorite chair, we just glared at one another. My eyes still filled with terror, and his with something resembling shame. I've been doing this for a long time, Edward, he said in a strangely compassionate voice. Immortality, I can assure you, does not come without a cost. You can't be him. I won't believe it, I said, still shaking my head in denial. I am young Mr. Cobb. I'm so sorry that I'm not what you expected, but I assure you there is no need to be afraid. I would never hurt a child. Not even the naughty ones? Not even. Not when they're still young enough to change, anyway. Even if they're really bad. No, not ever. Never a child, not if I can help it. Besides, that's what the train is for. The train? Nothing to concern yourself with, my boy. I can promise you that much. Again, we gazed at one another for so long that my eyes began to burn from my refusal to blink. Not only was I still so horrified by what sat across from me, but I dreaded to think what he might have done if I took my eyes off him for a second. My whole body continued to tremble when I still forced my back against the plush cushions of the couch, with my blanket pulled up to my quivering lower lip. Every fiber of my being was in complete denial of what I was looking at, regardless of the fact that he clearly had no ill intentions at the time, a fact I grew steadily more uncertain of after what came next. Stop looking at me like that, he said, barely louder than a whisper. Both sides of his uneven brow pinched tightly into his upper eyelids. I didn't stop. I couldn't. I had no control over it at the time. He may as well have asked me to levitate 3 feet above the cozy sofa, with how much I was able to manage what my body and mind were going
It's not
through at
bad.
the time. Stop it, he repeated, leaning forward to lean his elbow on his knees. Do you have any idea what I've endured over the centuries? Do you have the slightest semblance of appreciation for what I put myself through to continue to give you, ungrateful children, a happy Christmas? I shook my near spasming head, not in response to his question, but in further denial of what I was witnessing. I turned myself into an abomination for you. You and all the other kids out there. Is that not good enough? I turned away from him, finally allowing my gaze to drift from his. Look at me, he shouted, reclaiming my unyielding attention, as he practically leapt to his feet, whipping the hat from his scalp and tearing open his coat. The scars and stitches together, mismatched shades of flesh across his emaciated chest, almost caused me to scream out loud. So loudly I may just wake the dead as well as my sleeping family. The stringy and matted patchwork hair, mangled scalp looked as though this thread holding it together would pop loose any second, unzipping the seams to reveal little more than the skull beneath. This is what I had to become to continue on my chosen path, he said, in a crackling voice, pulling his coat back shut. I became this monstrosity for you, for all the children of the world. He paced closer to me again, inspiring me to attempt to force myself deeper into the cushions. As he crouched down to look directly into my eyes, my tears let loose, transforming from the trickling stream to a veritable hurricane. Stop that. He gripped his fingers around my shoulders so tightly I thought he planned to claim my arms to stash them away for a rainy day. While I became aware of the fact that one of his hands felt so much larger than the other, far stronger as well, that only drove the madness of it all so much deeper into my brain. "Look at the wonders I brought you," he said, removing one hand to gesture to the pile of neatly wrapped presents. "Is it too much to expect a little gratitude?" The mismatched scowl softened to reveal his own glassy eyes, glistening in the soft illumination of the festive lights upon the tree. Even through my horror-stricken vision at the time, I could faintly make out the melancholy and the hurt-filled expression of the kind face hidden away beneath the grotesque patchwork flesh. "Thank you," I said, my tears finally dissipating. "And I'm sorry. I got scared. It's just..." "No," he said, his grip softening my shoulders. "It is I who should apologize, my dear young man." His hands fell limp to his sides, tracing his padded gloves across the carpeted floor. As he hung his head, shying his eyes away from mine, I let the blanket slip from my fingers, raising my hand to his cold and wrinkled cheek. "It actually feels kind of neat," I said, running my no longer shivering digits across the seam holding the underflap of his face to the lower. "Does it hurt?" He just shook his head, still seemingly studying the floor beneath his knees. "Only at first. It goes numb after a time." "I bet that's a good thing when it's really cold out," I said sincerely, shifting myself closer to him. "I played in the snow today. My skin felt like it was on fire after a while." "Is that right?" he said with a chuckle, raising his eyes back to meet mine. "It's been a long time since I felt anything like that." It really sucked because I really wanted to stay out there, but I couldn't even make my fingers move. They were so cold. When I came back inside, I got crazy pins and needles. Though the smile he returned seemed to lighten up his face, a few more stitches popped loose on the side of his mouth, almost reawakening the fear that I had begun to bury away. When he raised a gloved hand to the loose thread, I could see that shame returned as he turned his gaze from mine once more. "Want me to help you fix it? My mom showed me how to sew a bit when I kept tearing up the knees of my pants." "No," he said, with a half smile on the side of his face that wasn't affixed with thread. "But I certainly do appreciate the offer, young Edward." With that, he got back to his feet, smiled back down at me once more, and walked back to where his bag lay beside the tree. "I'm afraid I must be going, my young friend. Many more children on my list before the sun rises." I pulled back my blanket, jumping to my feet, approached the man in the red suit, no longer afraid of what he had in store for me. "I'm really sorry, Santa," I said, feeling my back tense again from my guilt. "No, my boy," he said, turning to face me. "It is I who owes you an apology. It's been many years since I have allowed this," he held his hand to his face, "to be seen by anyone, aside from those that I work alongside. I almost forgot how jarring it can be to be the unsuspecting." I reached up to wrap my fingers around the puffy mitten of his left hand. He winced at first, as though shocked by this act, but when I tightened my grip to reassure him, I felt my heart skip a little when my hand closed around the empty section of padding. I looked up at him, as though wordlessly asking if it was all right if I slipped the glove from his hand. I felt my jaw fall loose when my eyes met the sight of the 3 missing fingers, leaving only a forefinger and thumb in their stead. "What happened?" I stuttered. Not from fear this time, but from the sadness awakening within me. "Small accident some weeks back," he said, almost dismissively. "Nothing to worry about, young lad." "Can you get new ones?" "Soon enough, my boy. I just need the right donor," he replied with a warm smile. "But you said you wouldn't hurt nobody," I said, feeling my heartbeat quicken again. "I would never hurt a child, dear Edward," he said, pulling the mitten back over his hand. "But a few lumps of coal are not quite effective to a naughty adult." With that, he gave a wink, tousled my hair again, and with his fully fingered right hand, picked the large bag back up. "You had better get some sleep now." While still pretty freaked out by everything that night had presented me with, I no longer felt afraid of the patchwork man in the red and white suit. Before I walked back to the couch, I wrapped my arms around him, apologizing one last time for acting like such a jerk. He just laughed, gently returning my hug. Merry Christmas,
It's
Edward Cobb.
fucking
He said with a
huge.
slight
That's what she
crack in his
said.
voice. Merry Christmas, Santa, I replied, finally releasing my grip to head back to my warm blanket. When I climbed back under the covers, I glanced back to the tree to see no trace of jolly old St. Nick. But I think I expected that. I heard no hooves stomping across the roof high above, no jovial chuckles as he rode out of earshot, only the silence of the house at rest. By the time I awoke the following morning, greeted by my loving parents, excited sister, and a good many presents to open up, I had already convinced myself that I'd eaten far too much junk food the night before. That was always a safe enough explanation for more bizarre and far-out dreams. I even found my camera hidden away beneath a blanket, not even one picture having been taken. After Christmas morning proceeded like normal, from what I had experienced over my handful of years by that point, my father received a phone call. He looked almost puzzled when he glanced at the caller ID before answering, but the confused expression on his face quickly turned to something more concerned and uneasy. He whispered something to my mother, words I couldn't make out, causing her face to mimic his at the same time, but he turned down her offer to accompany him as he threw on some warmer clothing, almost sprinting out the front door. "Where's Dad going?" Jo asked, turning her attention away from her new iPad for the first time in hours. "He has to go meet your Uncle Bob," Mom replied, appearing uneasy about this rendezvous. I had only met my father's brother once, some 4 or 5 years before the Christmas day, if memory serves. Even back then, I could tell that my mom didn't think too highly of the man, but he was only at the house for maybe 10 or 20 minutes at most. I overheard my parents arguing that night, with my mother insisting that Dad's brother was not welcome in our house. While Dad seemed pretty agitated by her words, he didn't put up much of a fight, as I expected. But the more they talked, after the yelling calmed down, the more I understood. I would find out sometime later that Robert Cobb, who was 2 years older than my dad, cared more about the bottle than his brother's family. He prioritized his addiction over his own wife and kids as well. Having only met them just the one time, I had no idea I had 3 cousins, a boy around my age and 2 daughters, 3 and 5 years my senior. With those facts in mind, when my dad showed back up 2 hours later, accompanied by Uncle Bob, I could understand why my mom looked fit to burst. As my father looked back at her, with his eyes quivering with tears, she looked completely lost for words when Robert threw his arms around her, apologizing for being a terrible brother-in-law. It was at that point, while I was completely distracted from all the goodies I had unwrapped that morning, gazing up at the adults who were acting so strangely to my youthful eyes, that I noticed something that caused my breath to catch in my throat. Some minutes later, Bob would explain the bandages wrapped around his left hand, how he had awakened that morning with a wide red ribbon where the gauze now sat. Being still hungover from the binge drinking on the previous night, the same way he had ended just about every night since his wife left him, taking their children with her. He had no memory of how he had lost those 3 fingers, nor why he had encased the bloody stump in a festive ribbon. Seeing this as a much-needed wake-up call to finally put in the work to attempt to get his life back on track, he headed straight to the hospital, placing the call to my father when he arrived. When my parents escorted him into the kitchen, pretty much ordering my sister and me to stay put, we couldn't help but listen from the other side of the door. Though I was still far too young to understand a lot of what was being said, what Uncle Bob was confessing to, Jo attempted to explain to me later in more child-friendly terms. Essentially, Robert admitted to the abuse he had inflicted on his wife and children. While he'd only gotten physical with his spouse, he was just as ashamed of that as the years of verbal abuse. Over the following months, my father stood by my brother's side while he fought to get clean, with the full support of my mom. Sometime down the line, his estranged wife gave him a second chance. Ultimately, they couldn't save their relationship, but remained friends even while she remarried. He would, however, become far more involved in the lives of his children as well as his niece and nephew. To this day, Uncle Bob keeps in touch. I don't see him as much as I used to, him or my cousins, but that's just part of getting older, I suppose. We all still get together for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, that's
The latter
good.
being more important to my uncle than any other holiday. as that is the anniversary of when he realized the monster that he had become. Oftentimes, I allow myself to believe that the memories I still hold of the man I met that early Christmas morning was nothing more than an especially vivid dream that sticks with me to this day. The fact that the patchwork individual in the red suit was missing the same fingers that my uncle lost track of some hours after that bizarre dream, I chalk that up to unexplainable coincidence.
Really?
Coincidence of a strangely prophetic flight of fancy of the sleeping mind. Of course, there are those other times when I fully and truly believe that I did uncover the truth behind the mythical saint of the season. The extreme measures that he took to be able to continue his mission through the centuries. Not only that, but I think it's very likely he had a fully fingered left hand by the time the sun set on that Christmas day. Though I never saw him again after that night, I believe that it was that experience that drove me to at least attempt to grow up to be a good man. That, as well as the lessons my parents taught me. Yes, there have been hard times that almost inspired me to stray from that path, as life does tend to toss a few curveballs at even the most prepared for the worst. I've always been able to find my way back. Perhaps it's not the most honorable motivation. Fear of having bits and pieces of myself cut and stripped away to fix up a broken fender or two on Santa's sleigh, so to speak. But it's something at least. Believe my story or not, it's pretty far-fetched. Can't deny that. All I ask is, when all is said and done, just try to be good. For goodness sake. Times have been tough for me, so I haven't quite updated everything as I would have liked in the past couple of months. I'm finally getting back to the swing of things as my life continues to normalize. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me, and honestly, I see all of your comments and your support as I've been talking about what's been happening with me, and I want to tell you all thank you so much for that, because it's been rough, and seeing your support has been life-saving. So thank you all so much for it. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. That includes everybody who's been waiting for me to update my Patreon, and I thank you all so much for being so patient with me. But especially, I want to give a thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Jacob Fensky, Stephanie Butler, Bobby Carmen, Chance Burnett, Tyler Krause, Tristan Pelton, Acid System, Adam Garrick, Aaron Stormcrow, Aka Limchalk, Amber Clark, Angelus, Atomarus, Bastion Beefcake, Blue the Enigma, Braden Morris, Broken Beast 320, Captain Scurvy, Caspian, Shelly J, Corey Kenshin, Cronut 509, Crusader Chocobo, Cryptic Nightmares, Curse Pox Primarch, Dakota Lane Whetstone, Daniel Paulson, Darth Miver, deleted account, Dirt Diver 030, M, Esteban, Fester's Lampshade, Freddy Krueger, Gorag Trimagasi, Grand Moth the Milky, Hades Nephew, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Harley, Himbo Jerry, Horseman Sect Time, Insanity Gamer X, Jay Cairns, Jesus Cornell, Jordan Humble, Justin LaFontaine, Kaylee Ambrose, Kiri the Sloth, Crazy Kid, Cryolinian, Lambda M98, Lisa Cottrell, Little Crow, Lord Life's Best, Lupita Galvin, Love You Eminem, Matt Bach, Melted Lake, Michael Allen Jr. Brashears, Mike, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Nate Cull, Nico Kaio, Psychomel, Red Shadow Cat, Rob Like Sharp Things, Sama High, Sashi Suzaku, Seclude, Stricken, Tali Sue, Tater Chip, That Creepy Chick, The Ginger Bros, Turtle Man, Voice of Sand, William King, Xavier and Cheyenne, Yargul, and Zachary Graphius. If you would like to join this list of names that I horribly mispronounce, then please head over to patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, or you can always check out the names in the description down below, and I appreciate it infinitely. So thank you all on Patreon, thank you all so much, and to everyone, sweet dreams. Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and I promise this is only going to take about 1 minute of your time, which is about 2 hits of that skip button. But don't hit it. I wanted to let you know about 2 very quick things. I'm going to be at San Japan again this year because I always go to San Japan. It's in San Antonio, Texas, August 30th through September 1st. I'll put a link in the description down below for that. And also, I'm going to end up being back at MidoriCon for the first time in many years, and I'm really happy about that. MidoriCon is at the Deer Creek Lodge and Conference Center in Mount Sterling, Ohio. It's going to be on September 13th through the 15th, and it's kind of unlike any other anime convention I've ever been to. And they let me do this thing where I get to tell scary stories by a campfire in the woods, and I love them for that. That's all. Less than a minute, on to tonight's story. It's been years since I felt inspired. 3 years, if I'm being honest. I remember the day my inspiration left me. like it was yesterday. I had just brought home a beautiful blank canvas. I had such high hopes of doing something awe-inspiring. My last art piece had made the local news. They said I was someone to watch out for. Couldn't wait to show them what else I could do. My next piece was going to be my calling card, so to speak. I was certain that after I finished, the entire country would know my name, but when the time came to make the first mark, I stood there unable to move. Every time I started to make a stroke, I found myself stopping. Everything I thought of seemed derivative of my previous pieces. I just couldn't pull the trigger. I stared at it, pondering the best way to start for hours.
This sounds like a Vincent V. Cava
Finally, I gave up
story.
for the night.
Oh, by Julia Smith.
There was no need to rush the process. I figured a good night's sleep would probably be all I needed to get the creative juices flowing again. When I got off work the next day, I rushed down the stairs, eager to get started on my next project. I stood there before it and found myself frozen again. Try as I might, I just couldn't find a way to turn this blank canvas into something worth looking at. Once again, I spent hours in front of it and didn't make a single mark. I'm sure some of you can relate, hitting a creative block and having no clue how to work past it. Our mediums might be different, but creativity is still creativity. I read tons of blogs and watched dozens of YouTube videos on how to jumpstart my creativity again. Some of you might have looked up solutions to this problem as well. I'm sure you all found just as many contradicting ideas as I did. Wait until you're inspired. Force yourself to work every day regardless of inspiration. Take some time off. Work on something else. There are literally thousands of suggestions. And none of them, not one, was very helpful. It had been weeks since I had put on my last showcase, and I was worried the public was forgetting me. After all, artists like me are a dime a dozen. I was certain all that good press that I had built up for myself was going to waste. Every time I went to work on that canvas, negative thoughts kept popping in my head. You'll never do anything memorable. This is going to suck. Nobody will ever appreciate your work. It was like my brain was determined not to let me make my masterpiece.
I get that.
I started to feel like that blank canvas staring at me every day was mocking me, laughing at my inability to turn it into something beautiful. And finally, I decided a change of scenery might be just what was needed. I was lucky enough to have that kind of job that could be found anywhere, and plenty of money on my savings account, so I picked a place at random on a map and made arrangements to move there. I packed up everything I could find in my car, and I sold the rest. You can buy a bed anywhere, but sentimental mementos are irreplaceable. I made the conscious decision to leave that canvas at the house, though. I refused to bring that negativity with me. I only brought the things that made me happy or were useful. That thing was neither. I thought that my creative muse would return in the picturesque, quiet beach town that I chose to move to. But it remained silent. Hoping a new studio would jumpstart the process, I went out and I bought all new supplies, but still, I had no clue how to replicate my previous success. I was still stuck. Eventually, I lost hope that I would ever find my inspiration. I fell into the monotony of my new life: breakfast, work, lunch, dinner, sleep, repeat. It went like that day after day, month after month, year after year, a layer of dust settling over everything in the studio that I had set up. A co-worker's newfound love of writing.
Muscles, you know what I mean?
Is what saved me.
It's hard to.
His hopeful enthusiasm was contagious. It was like a hand reaching down to help pull me out of the hole I had let myself fall into. He was a regular contributor on Reddit. He recommended I join a Facebook group full of like-minded creative people. And it was there that I finally found my inspiration in the form of a contest they were having. The contest theme was carnivals. And for some reason, my mind just became flooded with ideas. Imagery associated with carnivals spoke to me in a way that I had almost forgotten. I had found my muse. The new project would be my biggest one yet, and I knew it was a large undertaking. I had ideas from 3 different pieces that would all connect to the central theme. And during my research of carnivals, the pictures and stories of the old-timey circus freaks really stuck with me. I decided to make each piece based on a different famous circus freak. Lobster Boy was the first one I did. I foolishly thought starting with the smallest part of the exhibit would be the easiest, but I underestimated how hard it was to work with lobster claws. Removing the boy's hands was messy, but simple enough. The issue was trying to attach the lobster claws. I ruined several lobsters before I found the perfect way to get them to stay, and once I worked through the issue, I knew the rest of the project would come easily. The three-legged man was very straightforward. I was unsure of where the best place to attach the extra leg would be, but with a little experimenting, I found a place that looked natural when I stood him up. For extra shock value, I decided to use the leg of a woman as the third leg. Her painted toenails added an extra pop of color and femininity. Sure, it could be said I was a little wasteful since I had to throw out the rest of her, but the piece only needed a leg, and art supplies aren't necessarily recyclable. The final piece was meant to be a real showstopper. This would be my grand finale. I wanted to do something so different with conjoined twins, but in a completely unexpected way. It would have been easy to just sew two people together, but where's the fun in that? I decided I needed to do my first real collaboration, so I contacted my coworker. He seemed to have an appreciation for the gruesome and the macabre. Plus, I felt he deserved the honor of being included in my masterpiece. I mean, he did help point me in the right direction. It took a while to find a suitable person for him to work with. He was my friend, so not just anybody would work. Once a suitable match was found, it was almost all downhill from there. I knew exactly how I wanted this piece to look in the end, so it was just a matter of carefully combining their faces. The skin on a face is quite elastic, and was a joy to work with. I was worried I might run into trouble deciding which facial bones to remove to make their faces look real, like they had been conjoined twins, but I found that wasn't the difficult part at all. So the real challenge was the top of the head. I wanted the brains to be exposed to show a true mind meld between two people, but have you ever tried working with brain matter? It's such a pain. It became clear I couldn't sew them together early on, and since I had a limited number, experimenting wasn't really an option. The answer came in the form of superglue. I could slice off a few inches from each brain, and then simply superglue them together. The end result was exactly how I envisioned it. I'm planning on leaving all three pieces at the end of the pier tonight. I'm certain that by tomorrow, the entire world will know my name. I just wanted to thank all of you for your help in working past my creative block. If any of you would like to collaborate in the future, please contact me. I'm sure we could make something beautiful together. Hello, readers. My name is, unimportant. I'm here to share a story of mine that I've kept bottled up for quite some time. I'm a believer in the uncanny and weird, as long as it is within the boundaries of reason. Even so, I can always explain the day's events to myself and understand them, no matter how odd. My mind craves logic and order, but the following events have gone. I can't explain them away at the end of the day. I'm not even sure what actually happened. I'm left with a bunch of what-ifs. I can say with some certainty that it may have been a vivid hallucination or a very clever deception. Either way, I feel I need to disclose my tale, if for no other reason than to get it off my chest. The following occurred in the autumn of 2010. That's as specific as I will be. I live in a small, lively town in Massachusetts. The winters are cold and the summers are hot, but fall, to me, feels just right. Being just shy of the proper drinking age and never having interest in such things anyhow, I found other activities to occupy my weekends, and weekdays for that matter. I've always had a passion for the paranormal. It fascinates me, even to this day. With nothing better to do with my raging case of insomnia, I spend some of my nights investigating the local cemeteries with my friends. You could call me a paranormal investigator of sorts, but I saw it as more of a hobby. Half the time, my friends and I would goof off anyway. The only time that we became dramatically serious was when there was a lot of paranormal activity taking place. Now, this didn't happen all that often, but when it did, we transformed from friends hanging out and having a good time into instant professional ghost hunters. I might have even pursued it as some sort of career choice, had the following not taken place. I can tell you for certain that I won't investigate a cemetery again for as long as I live. It was a night like any other for myself. I was bored, I couldn't sleep, and I felt a need to do something outdoors. I called a few of my friends and asked if they wanted to investigate one of the local cemeteries, one that tended to have more activity than the others. I was able to convince 2 of them to come with me. The others, whom I called, were angry that I'd woken them up. I didn't realize that it was already midnight. Anyway, the 2 friends that I did rope in met me at the cemetery. It took us each roughly half an hour to walk there, and even though we all lived in opposite sides of town, the cemetery was smack dab in the center of town, making the location convenient for all of us, considering that we were without transportation. After an hour of investigating and goofing off, my friends left. There was little to no activity. The place was dead, no pun intended. Maybe a little intended. I stayed behind. I figured that I would take a walk through the cemetery a few times in an attempt to become tired before heading home. I started walking about when I noticed something. Before I go into details, I must describe to you the layout of the cemetery. It was quite large, overall. There were 2 sides divided by a small street right off the main road. Each side had a stone wall that ran along the entire length of the graveyard. It came up to my waist, and only broke up where the 2 main entrances were, one for each side. On one side was nothing but graves. The other side, the one that I was walking on, had graves, a stone tomb, and a small wooden shack. The shack was where the gravedigger kept his shovels and other tools for the trade. What I had noticed while walking towards it was a light illuminating the inside. I didn't even know there was any electricity that ran to the shack. I figured that the gravedigger was working late tonight, it being around 2 a.m. at this point. I looked around, and I could make out a freshly made 6-foot-deep hole near the shack, big enough for a coffin. This was odd to me. This graveyard was a popular one, with at least 5 new headstones added each month. Every time the cemetery became full, some town workers would cut down some trees and extend it. The only thing that struck me as strange was the hour. I had only seen the gravedigger work during the day. A huge, gaping hole in the ground is a dangerous thing to come across in the middle of the night. This was enough to arouse my curiosity, so I decided to see what the old man was up to. I crept over quietly, making my way to a cracked window located on the side of the shack. This way I could hear what was going on inside. I knew about the window because I was the one who cracked it a year previous on one of my investigations. My friends and I were throwing rocks up in the air, trying to repeat the results of an urban legend that was passed around town. See, it was the equivalent of our Bloody Mary. It was said that if you throw rocks straight up into the air and stand completely still, you can hear screams of a woman by the name of Imala before the rock hits the ground. Imala was a resident in the town during the 1940s. She died while strolling down this very street, during the newer side of the cemetery's construction. A gravestone fell on her head while being moved to its proper location by a small crane. The gravestone was her late husband's, who she allegedly murdered just 3 weeks before her death. Instead of hearing a scream, I heard the shatter of glass a few yards away.